a restoration and remembering of something innocent about ourselves. True nature. True nature is that innocence. This is a beautiful thing because it's almost as though we imagine, we think that we've lost that completely and drifted into, I don't know, forgetting and cynicism, and we live in a cynical world. And that means that our true nature, our innocent nature is gone. It's the corruption of man. The great corruption of the human experience. And that corruption allows all sorts of terrible things to be accepted within us and outside us as normal. But I don't see that. I see corruption. And when I say corruption, I don't just mean superficial corruption. I mean the corruption of the innate system that we are, the innate inner organization, the corruption of our innocent structure, our innocent heart, and our innocent mind. That is still there. Forgotten, as if lost, as if gone. Yet, to these eyes, not so. I've touched the innocence of my own nature. In fact, I have in many ways decorrupted myself. And there is some innocence. It's not naive, but a restoration of the remembering of a certain innocence, certain pureness, a certain naturalness. Hold on, going up the hill. So this innocence is in us all. It is a kind of surrender. There has to be a kind of surrender for tenderness to happen. And that's where it kind of gets tricky. We can get ourselves around tenderness, but really, surrender is a very difficult one for most people. Because we don't really know what we're surrendering or what we're surrendering to or what's going to happen. Surrender, I've talked about this before, is a great anathema. Because it's not surrendering to something, it's surrendering the whole damn show. It's surrendering the entire mechanism. It's surrendering the entire self and falling into something much deeper. Surrendering is the I don't know how it's supposed I don't know how it's supposed to be. I don't know what is real and what's not real. I don't know really anything. But I'm here and I'm falling. And I'm okay falling into the don't know, falling into the great unknown. That's a kind of tenderness. a tenderness to our experience, and that tenderness, is somehow the restoration of the innocence of us. A great humility comes. Anything can happen. A grief, a sorrow, a mourning. Somebody said the other day that they feel as though they're in mourning. They saw something, they felt something undo within themselves. And although it was beautiful, after that they went into a sort of state of mourning, of kind of somewhere between heartbreak and grief and sorrow and equanimity and grace. This is it. This is what happens. Something dies. And what is left is the kind of innocence of us. It has no more strategies. No more strategies left. That's the innocence of us. That's the tenderness of us. That's the surrender. No more strategies left. And it seems as though we just will endlessly run our course. And no one knows. Everybody's different. And every life is different. And the course of undoing strategies, for one, may be fast. For another, may be slow. For one, may be as if easy. And for another, will be almost torturous agony. But that's the task. Those strategies are what uphold the self. You can't know the true self. You can't know the innocence. You can't live in surrender. You can't live in that way or be that or really know that until all of those strategies have come undone. And you know it deeply when that's happened. It doesn't just mean that life is blissful. It doesn't just mean that there are no more troubles in many ways. It doesn't mean that you're finished with the movement of life. It means you meeting everything directly, without a story, without resistance, without argument, without fight, as if without a centre. Very tender, very surrendered, very equanimous. And still action has to arise. But action arises from a place of response, not reaction. There's a big difference. because the action that rises from response is always going to have love and truth in it, and a certain amount of almost power, if you like. Won't be violent of the self. Might be wrathful. But all of these things, from this simple conversation about tenderness, all these things arise. Tenderness, surrender, innocence, kindness, equanimity, grace. All of these qualities are so beautiful. I can't stop talking about them, as you might see.